Hi. This is my review of Stardust by Neil Gaiman. So I know this book is like a couple decades old. I don't care. This is the first Neil Gaiman book I've ever read. Great read. So first thing, it was fun, fast, and it really takes the conservation of detail seriously, which is a quality that I really appreciate in a story. But it doesn't take it so seriously that every detail comes back. It still keeps you on your toes. Every story in the pinwheel comes together in the end. It's full of helpful, supporting characters, interesting villains, lots of oddly specific details that aren't necessary at all, but I appreciate their existence anyways because it made it funnier. Hi, baby. Cat is just saying hi. And an example of an oddly specific detail that I really like was the mouse who's actually an enchanted prince, and he's has to eat the nut of wisdom to undo his enchantment, and then he's eaten by an owl who has to eat a mouse who's eaten the nut of wisdom in order to undo his enchantment. Completely unnecessary. I love it. What was I? And I really like absurd, silly, oddly specific details. It just helps make the world feel more fleshed out, and it just really helps me get into the story more. And it's also just funny. I don't know. That's just like totally my type of humor. Now, I am disappointed that a large chunk of the journey home from retrieving the star, Yvain, is just kind of glossed over. I get why it was done. I get it on a structural and narrative level. I would have liked to have seen those adventures because those sound like they were a ton of fun. The beginning is pretty dull. I actually had to I was questioning if I was really reading the book that was described on the blurb on the back, because it's the first chapter is effectively a prologue just titled Chapter 1, which is fine. That's all prologues really are, is a Chapter 1 with a different name. But it's really dull. Now, I understand its purpose. I understand why it's there, and it makes a great sharp contrast between wall and fairy. The wall is really boring and dull and normal, and fairy is everything but that. So I get why it's there, but it was dull and it made me put the book down, at least for a few days. Um, so my favorite character is Vane, the star. She's freaking hilarious. Like her stubbornness is such a mood. Like same. She's knocked from the sky by this tyrannical ruler. I don't know, someone who obtained the throne through bloodshedding, as is tradition. She falls from the sky because he threw his stupid amulet into the sky, and it knocked her out of the sky. And so she's got a broken leg. She can't go back home. Um, and she literally fell from the sky. That's gotta hurt. And this guy, this random dude, just comes up to her and is like, "Yep, I'm gonna take you back to my crush now, so I can impress her, so I can marry her." And she's like, No, you're not. I'm gonna fight you and be uncooperative and stubborn the entire way. It's hilarious. Because that's exactly what I would do, because she has no power to stop him except being uncooperative. And he's like, you gotta be like this? She's, yes, I do! With that said, I like how Vane's story ends in the epilogue, and I like how Tristan realized on his own who he really loves, and the natural progression of these romantic feelings feels natural. It doesn't feel forced to me, and I'm really picky about my romance, love story things. I hate love at first sight. I hate forced, cheesy things with no build up. I, I hate it. This is not that. Now, the inciting incident of the story plays on the trope of some cheesy love story, some guy just having a huge crush on a girl who's clearly not interested in him, and he can't take a hint. I mean, I can't either, but still. And so, he goes out on this quest to impress her, so she'll marry him. Giant cliche, which is fine. Cliches are fine. And then it's subverted because at the end he realizes who he really loves. And everyone involved at the end with the love story is rational about it. No one's feelings are hurt. Uh, it's great. It's a love story that it you're expecting one thing, and then what really would actually happen, but the positive version is what actually happens, and I really liked it. Um, but yeah, so I really liked the way the story rounded out everyone's arcs. Everything came together at the end. Everything made sense at the end. Even the really boring prologue, chapter 1. Now, real quickly though, so I read this at my aunt's house, and like the very next day, I saw on her DVD shelf, Stardust, the film, which I had never even heard of before. And I was like, "You have it? Can we watch it?" And she's like, "Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies." And so I watched the movie the next day after reading the book. I gotta say, I like the movie too, for different reasons. For adaptation, I give it a B. It makes some liberties, but it's a solid, enjoyable movie that's way more action packed and way queerer than there is not an ounce, not a drop of queerness in the original book. And the movie hams it up. It's great. Like the Sky Pirates, the lightning catchers, was a section of the book that was glossed over, given I don't know, 4 short paragraphs, short, yeah, something like that. And I wish they'd delved more into it. And the movie focuses really heavily on them, and I'm really happy about that. And the Sky Pirates in the movie are really queer and wholesome, and I am a sucker for wholesome pirates. Just sucker for wholesome pirates. That's not present in the book, but the movie. movie is great. So is the book. But and the movie is still definitely the book. But again, there's like very minimal action. If I actually don't remember there being any like type action in the book. And so all the changes that the movie made make sense considering it's a film. And I liked the changes, and they are all still in the spirit of the original book. And some of the changes helped to just kind of gloss over some of the smaller details of the original book, helped the story flow better for a visual audience rather than a read. I guess reading is technically visual. You know what I mean? Um, but the scene that I really liked with the Sky Pirates is so the captain is this really fearsome pirate captain who likes to dress in feminine clothing and in privacy. And during a battle, he's found out by his crew. And he's really embarrassed, and he's afraid that his reputation is ruined, and his crew reassure him by saying they always knew he was a lapsy, but he's still their captain. And it was this really wholesome moment. I love it. And I wish that was in the book, but it's not. But they're both great, but for different reasons. And and honestly, that little bit of queer rep with this pirate captain is the only reason I'm talking about the film, because queer rep in fantasy literature and sci-fi is a huge thing for me. And so even though it's in the film, it's still based off of a book that I read. So that is my thoughts on both the book and the film. If you couldn't tell, I really liked it. I'm glad I read it. I will have to read more Neil Gaiman. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.